Mimnermus was a Greek elegiac poet from either Colophon or Smyrna in Ionia, who flourished about 630–600 BC. He was strongly influenced by the example of Homer, yet he wrote short poems suitable for performance at drinking parties and was remembered by ancient authorities chiefly as a love poet. Mimnermus in turn exerted a strong influence on Hellenistic poets such as Callimachus and thus also on Roman poets such as Propertius, who even preferred him to Homer for his eloquence on love themes. His work was collected by Alexandrian scholars in just 2 books, and today only small fragments survive. The fragments confirm the ancient estimate of him as a consummate poet, but also indicate that he was of sturdier character than the indulgent love poet he was assumed to be by various ancient commentators. Almost no reliable biographical details have been recorded. One ancient account linked him romantically with a flute girl who subsequently gave her name, Nano, to one of his 2 books, Life and Work. The Byzantine Encyclopedia Suda provides a good example of the biographical uncertainties. Mimnermus, son of Ligiatiades, from Colophon or Smyrna or Astypalia, an elegiac poet. He flourished in the 37th Olympiad and so is earlier than the 7 sages, although some say that he was their contemporary. He was also called Ligiatiades because of his harmonious clarity. He wrote books. The gap indicates a corruption in the text, and the original wording probably testified to 2 books, though the only source we have for this number was the grammarian Pomponius Porphyrion. The Suda's mention of Astypalia, an island in the southern Aegean, as a possible candidate for the poet's hometown is mere fantasy. Smyrna seems to be the most likely candidate. The nickname Ligiatiades was probably taken by the Suda from an elegy addressed to Mimnermus by one of the 7 sages, the Athenian lawgiver and elegiac poet Solon. Solon clearly admired the skills of the older poet, whom he addressed his Ligiatiades, yet he objected to his hedonism and singled out this couplet for criticism. Alpha gamma rho tau epsilon rho nu omicron upsilon sigma omega nu tau epsilon kappa alpha rho gamma alpha lambda epsilon omega nu mu epsilon lambda epsilon delta omega nu epsilon omega nu shi eta kappa omicron nu tau alpha epsilon tau eta mu omicron rho alpha kappa iota k omicron iota theta alpha nu alpha tau omicron epsilon. Would that my fated death might come at 60, unattended by sickness and grievous cares. Solon thought he should be willing to live to 80. Plutarch was another ancient author critical of the poet's self-indulgence, dismissing one poem as the utterances of intemperate people. Mimnermus, however, was not timid in his hedonism, as indicated by a couplet attributed to him in the Palatine Anthology, an exhortation to others to live intemperately. Enjoy yourself. Some of the harsh citizens will speak ill of you, some better. However, the same lines have also been attributed to Theognis. A robust side to his personality is shown by his versatility as a poet. Archaic elegy was often used for patriotic purposes, to screw courage to the sticking place in times of war and to celebrate national achievements. And there is ample evidence that Mimnermus assumed this role as a poet. A quote recorded by the geographer Strabo represents the earliest surviving account of the Ionian migration, celebrating the settlement of Colophon and Smyrna from Pylos, while another quote, recorded by Stobaeus, describes the heroic exploits of a Greek warrior against the cavalry of the Lydian king, Gyges. Early in the 7th century, Mimnermus evidently hoped thereby to strengthen his countrymen's resolve against further Lydian encroachments. The name Mimnermus might have been chosen by his parents to commemorate a famous Smyrnian victory against Gyges near the Hermus River. He was alive when Smyrna was besieged for the final time by the Lydians under Alyattes II, and possibly he died with the town. The disappearance of Smyrna for the next 300 years might be the reason why Colophon was able to claim the poet as one of its own. Yet Smyrna's own claim persisted, and this suggests that its claim had the advantage of being true. Smyrna lay near Mount Sipylos, one of whose rocky outcrops was traditionally imagined to be the tragic figure Niobe. Like other archaic poets, Mimnermus adapted myths to his own artistic needs, and Aelian recorded that he attributed 20 children to Niobe, unlike Homer, for example, who attributed 12 to her. According to Sallustius, Mimnermus was just as creative in his poetical account of Ismene, representing her as being killed by Tydeus at the command of the goddess Athena, in the very act of making love to Theoclymenus, an original account that was soon accepted by an international audience, being represented on an early Corinthian amphora. Imaginative accounts of the sun voyaging at night from west to east in a golden bed, and of Jason the Argonaut voyaging to each city, where the rays of the swift sun lie in a golden storeroom at the edge of Oceanus, survive in brief quotes by ancient authors. According to Strabo, Smyrna was named after an Amazon, and, according to a manuscript on Proverbs, Mimnermus once composed on the theme of the proverb, "A lame man makes the best lover," illustrating the Amazonian practice of maiming their men. Nano. Unlike epic and lyric verse, which were accompanied by stringed instruments, elegy was accompanied by a wind instrument, and its performance therefore required at least 2 people, one to sing and one to play. Ancient accounts associate Mimnermus with a female oarless player, Nano, and one makes him her lover. Another ancient source indicates that Mimnermus was a pederast, which is consistent with conventional sexual themes in Greek elegy. However, as noted by Martin Litchfield West, Mimnermus could have been a pederast and yet still have composed elegies about his love for Nano. Greek pederasty was for the most part a substitute for heterosexual love, free contacts between the sexes being restricted by society. Mimnermus apparently was also capable of playing all by himself. Strabo described him as both a pipe player and an elegiac poet. According to the poet Hipponax, Mimnermus when piping used the melancholy fig branch strain, apparently a traditional melody played while scapegoats were ritually driven from town, whipped with fig branches. Ancient commentators sometimes refer to a work called Nano, and there is one clear reference to a work called Smyrnish. Modern scholars have concluded that these could be the 2 books mentioned by Porphyrion. The Nano appears to have been a collection of short poems on a variety of themes, whereas the Smyrnish appears to have been a quasi-epic about Smyrna's confrontation with the Lydians. A cryptic comment by the Hellenistic poet Callimachus also seems to refer to those 2 books, commending one for sweetness, and distinguishing it from the Great Lady. The latter seems to be a reference to Smyrnish, whereas the sweet verses, apparently the slender, economical kind of verses on which Callimachus modeled his own poetry, appear to refer to Nano. However, the comment is preserved as an incomplete fragment, and modern scholars are not unanimous in their interpretation of it. Another Callimachus fragment has been interpreted as proof that Mimnermus composed some iambic verse, but this conjecture has also been disputed. Poetic style. Elegy has been described as a variation upon the heroic hexameter, in the direction of lyric poetry, and, in Mimnermus, this takes the form of a variation on Homer, as appears for example in Fragment 1, quoted below, about which one modern scholar had this to say: Mimnermus' dependence on Homer is striking. It is amusing to see him express such un-Homeric thoughts as those of Fr. 1 in language which is almost entirely Homer's. Homer's vocabulary, line endings, formulas, similes, all reappear. But from this material Mimnermus creates quite a distinctive poetry of easy grace and pleasing rhythm. David A. Campbell Fragment 1 Tau iota sigma delta beta iota omicron sigma tau iota delta tau epsilon rho pi nu tau epsilon rho chi rho epsilon sigma sigma phi rho omicron delta iota tau eta sigma tau epsilon theta nu alpha iota eta nu tau epsilon mu omicron iota mu eta kappa epsilon tau iota tau alpha mu epsilon lambda omicron iota kappa rho epsilon pi tau alpha delta iota eta phi iota lambda omicron tau eta sigma kappa alpha mu epsilon iota lambda iota chi alpha delta rho alpha kappa alpha epsilon nu eta omicron beta eta sigma nu theta epsilon alpha gamma iota gamma nu epsilon tau alpha iota rho pi alpha lambda epsilon alpha nu delta rho alpha sigma iota nu delta gamma epsilon nu alpha iota chi iota nu pi epsilon delta epsilon nu eta rho nu pi epsilon lambda theta gamma rho alpha sigma tau alpha sigma chi rho nu mu sigma kappa alpha lambda nu delta rho alpha tau iota theta epsilon iota mu iota nu phi rho epsilon mu alpha sigma mu phi kappa alpha tau epsilon iota rho omicron epsilon sigma iota mu epsilon rho iota mu nu alpha iota omicron delta alpha gamma sigma pi rho omicron sigma omicron rho nu tau epsilon rho pi epsilon tau alpha iota epsilon lambda iota omicron epsilon lambda chi theta rho sigma mu nu pi alpha iota sigma iota nu tau iota mu alpha sigma tau omicron sigma delta gamma epsilon mu alpha iota chi iota nu omicron tau omega sigma rho gamma alpha lambda epsilon omicron nu gamma rho alpha sigma theta eta kappa epsilon omicron sigma. Typically, the elegiac couplet enabled a poet to develop his ideas in brief, striking phrases, often made more memorable by internal rhyme in the shorter, pentameter line. Mimnermus employs the internal rhyme in the pentameter lines 2 and 4. Here is the same poem paraphrased in English to imitate the rhythms of an elegy, with half-rhymes employed in the same lines 2 and 4. What is life, what is sweet, if it is missing golden Aphrodite? Death would be better by far than to live with no time for amorous assignations and the gift of tenderness and bedrooms. All of those things that give youth all of its coveted bloom, both for men and for women. But when there arrives the vexatiousness of old age, even good looks alter to unsightliness and the heart wears away under the endlessness of its anxieties. There is no joy any more than in the light of the sun. In children there is found hate, and in women there is found no respect. So difficult has old age been made for us all by God. Commenting on the poem, Morris Bauer observed that, after the challenging, flaunting opening we are led through a swift account of youth. And then as we approach the horrors of old age, the verse becomes slower, the sentences shorter, the stops more emphatic, until the poet closes with a short, damning line of summary. Of all the other early elegists, only Archilochus might be compared with Mimnermus for effective use of language, both being lifelong poets of outstanding skill. Comments by other poets: Solon addressing Mimnermus and criticizing him for his stated wish to die at 60 years of age. As quoted above in Life and Work, the Athenian sage said, lambda epsilon mu omicron iota kappa nu tau iota pi epsilon iota sigma epsilon alpha iota chi epsilon lambda epsilon tau omicron nu mu eta delta mu epsilon gamma alpha iota rho tau iota sigma epsilon lambda omicron nu pi epsilon phi rho alpha sigma alpha mu eta nu kappa alpha mu epsilon tau alpha pi omicron iota eta sigma omicron nu lambda iota gamma epsilon alpha iota sigma tau alpha delta eta delta epsilon iota delta epsilon gamma delta omega kappa omicron nu tau alpha epsilon tau eta mu omicron rho alpha kappa iota k omicron iota theta alpha nu alpha tau omicron epsilon. But if even now you will listen to me, remove this, and do not be offended because my thoughts are better than yours, and changing it. Ligier Stades, sing as follows. May my fated death come at 80, Hermesian acts, and Mimnermus who, after much suffering, discovered the sweet sound and breath given off by the soft pentameter, was on fire for Callimachus, defining the kind of poetry he liked and believed best suited to his own, much later times. The Alexandrian scholar poet commended Mimnermus, thus brackets indicate gaps in the text. Of the two types of poetry, it was his slender verses, not the big lady, that revealed Mimnermus' sweetness. Propertius plus in amor vale Mimnema versus Homeru. Carmina mansua tus linea querat amor. In love the verses of Mimnermus prevail over those of Homer. Gentle love calls for soft songs. Horace, Mimnermus uti senset, sine amoriasisque nil est iucundum, vivas in amoriasisque. If, as Mimnermus believes, without love and jests there is no joy, may you live amid love and jests. Translations. Greek lyric. An anthology in translation by Andrew M. Miller. Loeb Volume 1 Lyric Poetry. Several fragments translated by Steve Hayes. Translation of Fragment 2 into elegiac couplets.